Dear God.
Hey everybody, this is Jordan Peterson with some great folks with Patreon Hangout number 2 for February. All of your rooms are clean, yeah? So somebody sent me an email the other day.
Yeah.
And apparently, Jordan Peterson's daughter, her name is, I think it's like Michaela or something like that. She prescribes to some crazy woo-woo diet advice. And I did not know that.
We all have one of
Oh,
those.
dear
family.
God.
Oh. We all have one of those.
YouTube career is going to end because he's going to debunk Jordan Peterson's daughter.
Maybe.
Oh, dear God.
I gotta dig into it a lot more to see like exactly how wing nutty it is, but it seems pretty.
I wouldn't
weird.
doubt it.
Like, do you know what kind of diet it sounds like, or you just know that she's into some crazy shit?
I got the website open here.
Well, I know. I know they mentioned, like, I was watching the Joe Rogan thing. He talked about, for instance, they started eating a lot more greens and meat as opposed to, a lot of bread, which kind of makes sense.
Right. So she suffers from juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which is awful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's holy shit.
Of course.
Yeah, he said that in what is it too?
Rogan.
Yeah.
Right.
No, he said it in the book too. Maybe you're not that far, but he did. He's like.
I only just started last night.
I mean, like nothing in the. I'm looking at the diet now. It's mostly like cutting out gluten and dairy and things like that.
There's nothing wrong with gluten if you don't have a gluten allergy. That's the big thing people get really.
Yeah, celiac disease.
Gluten, because gluten's actually good. I forget. There's an actual value to it if you don't have the allergy.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like,
I'm not sure either.
There's just like little things like, don't buy tea that comes in bags. Only drink tea that's like loose leaf and things like that.
That might just be a personal philosophy.
Yeah, that might be personal philosophy.
I'm not very familiar with how tea bags and just tea leaves are differentiated, but
well, I can say for taste wise, if things that are fresh tend to be a little better. Like I have coffee, and it does taste better when you fresh ground it as opposed to having pre-ground.
Right.
It's kind of like pepper.
Yeah, pepper's the same way. Fresh ground pepper tastes a little bit better because you're just releasing the enzymes as you break it down.
Well, I'm not pro teabagging, but
I am.
Team kill.
But if you want to see something hilarious, there's someone out there on the internet who's taking Jordan Peterson's lectures and putting them behind like Kermit the Frog.
Shit.
He actually showed up one day with a Kermit the Frog, a puppet, and he's like, you know what? I know people are saying this. I'm just gonna embrace it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you have to embrace it.
You gotta admit that's really cool when someone's like, you know what? I'm already a meme. I'm gonna embrace it.
But he does.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man. Sorry. Go for it.
I was just gonna say he sounds a little bit like Kermit the Frog. If you
Oh
yeah, that was the point behind the meme.
That was the point.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know how I feel about Jordan Peterson. Like, the dude says some incredibly smart things, and then like every now and then he says something, you're like, dude, really?
No,
really?
The way I look at it is when it comes to his personal philosophy, I'm not entirely sure about it, but all the other shit, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Here's my thing: is we've learned is that just because someone's an expert in one thing doesn't mean they're a master of everything. Their knowledge in one thing should be respected, but don't take everything they say into account as like the oh my God, it's the Holy Bible.
Right. He's not like an revenge or some shit like that, but he's a smart guy. He's interesting. He's fast.
I mean, I did watch his what the shit?
What the shit, lady?
You hear that Dill Hunty wants to debate him?
You're like, Cam is like, what the hell? Okay.
I mean, I watched his debate with Sam Harris, and it was literally an hour and a half of them debating whether they could accept that God existed for a second.
It's kind of dumb. Yeah.
Is it true that he's not religious by any chance?
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
He doesn't subscribe to any religion, but he does find value in certain philosophy and just the existence of a God.
Yeah, he's a student of Young.
He's an E30 Jungian.
What I admire about him is that he even though he's secularized himself, he still values Christianity as a tribal kind of necessity for the
which
West.
makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand that. It brings the quote unquote village together.
Yeah.
I've gone back. I'm going back to church, even though I'm an atheist, because I'm like, hey, I like the music and I like the community.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like, you know, we wouldn't be saying this like 5 years ago, back in the day when it was atheist versus evangelical.
Oh dear God, we would have been at each other's throats like, fucking kill you!
Yeah, exactly.
I'll kill you!
Just shows things have changed now, so yeah. Just gotta get on board.
Living I was raised Catholic, and we got social media.
I'm still amazed that Jordan Peterson's considered alt-right by a lot of people.
It's because anything right of Marx is alt-right.
Right? I'm alt-right, and I'm
anything right of Marx is automatically a Nazi.
Why can't it just be always right or original right? Why do you want to be
what do you Did you stub your toe?
Man.
The castle
What did you do? Jeff, what did you do?
Okay, so I help moderate the Drunken Peasants subreddit as a favor to Ben and everything. And somebody was like, you need to add this thing to the Wheel of Torture next time you do it. And there's a guy dropping his nutsack on an animal trap.
Fucking edgy 13-year-olds.
Damn.
Ow. God damn.
Ow.
Damn.
No, what you gotta do is you gotta introduce them to the Saints Discord not safe for work section. They will be automatically just like, what the fuck? I can attest to this. Dragon and Derpy can attest to this. Oh my God.
Of course, I'm the one that always looks at that chick and goes, what the hell? Yeah, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
To be fair, when I post it, it's usually pretty freaking tame. Then someone's like, no, that's I know. I usually post like lingerie pics or Fuda if I want to go crazy.
Oh, if he wants to go crazy, he posts Fuda. Oh shit, the absolute madman.
Or
I was putting shit that I should not have been putting in there. Well, not even in there. It was literally like for like 2 seconds, and I stopped because I got bored.
People want me to put it in the Discord. All right, fine. I'll put it in the Discord. Great.
By the way, Jeff, I got into some flack with Nick. I went on one of his Patreon streams, and I did the dickish move. And I will admit this was a bit of a dickish move, where on Patreon you can basically put in the amounts and then delete your pledge immediately.
Of course, I'm the top.
Yeah, I did that, and Nick got a bit, angry at me. Justifiably, he did. And for some reason, he's banned me from the YouTube Saints Discord. I can't seem to get back on. So
I know you're there when he told the story.
I know you're on one of the mods. So would it be okay if you can unban my tag is Tabooish Productions. So
yeah. We'll get to that as soon as this stream's over.
Cool.
I don't know, man.
I want to go digging into
You are evil.
Evil.
Yeah. So today, I've been watching a lot of Sunfruit Dan.
What?
I've been
Who is Sunfruit Dan, and why have I not heard of this guy? His name is amazing.
Sunfruit Dan. I watched on my stream that I did the other day. I played one of his videos, but he's this alternative health wingnut guy, wants to be the next David Avocado Wolf kind of thing.
Oh yes, Sunfruit Dan.
From a grocery store, and I had to just stop in the middle of the store, going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he's an interesting fucking guy. And,
is he the one that wanted to cure herpes with the cilantro oil or some shit?
He wanted to kill
No. That was different. That was I don't remember what that guy's name was.
I've been watching a lot of Ella Grant and shit like that.
No, Sunfruit Dan was the dude who stood on the beach and talking about with the tattoos and shit.
Oh, okay, I know which one you're talking about. I know.
Yeah.
I played a really tame one of his videos for that stream because I have a bigger project that I'm gonna be doing on him.
Oh boy.
But yeah. I've been having to watch his stuff, and it's just I'm fucking brain dead now.
I'm only about halfway through that stream.
I was at work when I watched that stream, and my boss got really angry at some of the shit they were doing.
Really?
I don't understand in America, which I do understand to a degree why it's in place. But in the UK, if somebody was trying to make a business out of dopamine or like any kind of nutrients, they would literally be cracked down by the National Health Association.
Have we not seen Patch Adams before?
Yeah. So
I love Patch Adams.
It's a great fucking movie.
It is a great movie.
He did some highly
very
shit.
sad though.
Oh yeah.
He says she's all right.
Oh fuck! Why does he have so many videos about? God damn it!
What?
Sanford did. It just has all these videos about fucking piss. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna stop looking at it. Anyway, sorry.
Don't kill any more brain cells, Jeff. Don't kill any more.
No R. Kelly. No R. Kelly.
I'm gonna need to save some brain cells. I'm gonna be hanging out with Ben and Billy for this weekend. So.
Oh shit!
Oh god!
Oh, shit. You're gonna need brain cells to kill, man.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, it's gonna be gnarly, really gnarly. I didn't make it up for their 24-hour show, so I'm gonna hang out with them this week. So that'll be good. Be up in Portland. Yeah.
Jeff, the super chat that you read off yesterday or not super chat, the Streamlabs that I sent you yesterday about the package, it arrived in Eugene yesterday in the evening, like right around the time the place shut down.
Gotcha. Yeah, I went. They opened at 8:30 in the morning, and I went in, and it hadn't like been put into the box. So right before I go get the kiddo today, I'll go check it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, dude. Thank you. That's fucking rad. Super fun.
Yeah, no problem. I gave you a couple extra things too.
I don't understand why everybody hates you, Jeff.
Hates me?
Yeah. Like everywhere I like look, it's like Jeff is such a dumbass.
I don't hate Jeff.
I don't even understand
this. Everyone.
Keyword. They're all white. So.
I have the impression that most people like him.
He's this white male.
There's a few different reasons. There's a few different reasons that I've noticed that I tend to piss people off. If I'm feuding with somebody who's another YouTuber, obviously I'm gonna have like their audience that's not gonna like it.
It's because they're jelly. I feel it, Red.
Nah, it's not really like a jealous thing. There's also one that I've noticed is I do have a tendency to get a lot of messages from people saying that I come off as like smarmy or smug or arrogant.
I've kind of heard that, but I don't understand it
sometimes. But I just don't understand where they're coming from. Sometimes, like most of the time.
It's
well, I think
it's like the presentation style that I do in my videos has an air of confidence, and it has to be a little bit arrogant because it has to be abrasive for what I'm talking about. And that sometimes comes out in live streams too, especially when I'm being defensive. And that's because, like everybody, even the most confident person in the world has problems with confidence. Everybody does. Everybody gets down on rags of themselves all the time. When you have to make a public display of yourself, even if you're not necessarily feeling confident, you still have to put on that air of confidence. Otherwise, people smell that on you and they'll go for your throat.
They smell the fear.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things. And then there was one of the reasons why people don't like me in my hometown is actually because of my relationship. They hate me for it.
That's their problem.
Yeah.
Relationship?
What do you mean by relationship?
Oh yeah. So I used to have a huge group of really close friends that I hung out with all the fucking time. And a good chunk of them stopped hanging out with me after they realized that my marriage was really healthy.
What?
Because I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Every single one of these friends of mine in this group, none of their marriages lasted. None of them are married with or still together with the people that they had children with. Like none of them. Absolutely none of them.
So they're bitter.
And Well, I mean, for whatever reason, you know, life's different now. Things are complicated. It's rare for relationships to really work out and maintain and last for a long time.
At least more than a year. Make it the year mark. It's almost a fucking milestone.
So in essence, they got jealous of your success. In essence.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily that, or if it's just something that subconsciously got under their skin, and that's why they just didn't really want to like hang out.
I'm gonna have to.
In all honesty,
from a couple invites.
I think it might also be the fact that they don't want to be reminded that their shit failed if they see you succeed.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, some of them have.
I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I just generally speaking, I don't like reminders of bad shit. I don't really like reminders.
Sure, and I can understand that. But one of them, there was these two couples, and what ended up happening was, and each of them had children. What ended up happening was they both wanted to spice up their relationships, so they kind of swapped.
Oh no!
Oh no!
You idiots! You idiots!
Fast forward 2 years, and
Don't
now
swap with friends.
Right, it's not really that good of an idea, but so you fast forward 2 years, and actually now they're all married crossways instead. They got divorced and then married crossways. But
fucking Jerry Springer shit. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Check this out. Like they all really get along. Like they're all super good friends now, and like the kids play with each other almost. Like it actually ended up working out great for them. It was weird, but it works. I don't know.
Something that I noticed when because I was together with my ex for 7 years, and we for around 4 or 5 years of those years we had sort of an open relationship.
Sure.
And once we broke up, people around us tended to, those because of you having an open relationship. That was everything they blamed on it. But that was not a reason why we broke up. It was not.
Absolutely.
And people were very critical of that. The fact that we.
Oh yeah. Dude.
I think the problem is that you. No offense, I'm not judging you two in particular, but I think you come from a society where, basically, in essence, they have this kind of hostility towards traditional monogamous couples because they see that as too traditional now. So they wanted to try this kind of new kind of culture that's a bit tabooish in essence, which adds to the tongue to it. But in essence, they just find out further away once they try it out and experiment with it. It doesn't, in the end, it doesn't actually work because in essence, you know, it's you always, in essence, like humanity will always go by the model of two in a couple because that's just how it usually is in the essence.
Well, I mean, it depends too. Like the thing is, there doesn't have to necessarily be any rules. I've known polyamorous relationships that have lasted, for a very long time, if not like forever. I think a lot of it basically comes down to what exactly is it you're wanting to achieve in a relationship. Me and Memory would have. Yeah, I saw your hat, dude. I had to put on my hat.
God, I look so white.
Your hat's better, Jeff.
Yeah. I like his. I like his.
Hey, I got this from my ex.
You got this from actual pandas. Don't lie.
But like, you have to figure out what you want out of a relationship. The only reason me and Memory got married was because we wanted to have kids. That's it.
Yeah.
And the only reason we got married was to promise that we were always going to be there as a partnership to take care of the kid. It had nothing to do with like traditionalism. We're like, we're always gonna be this promise it. Fuck off. Fuck all that. No, it's a contract of responsibility that we have between the two of us. You know.
Right. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, does Oregon have common law?
I don't think so.
Well, if you don't know what common law is, it's basically if two people claim the same residence for a certain amount of time, if they're the opposite sex, they are automatically married by law after a certain period of time.
Yep.
Yeah,
we
don't have that
has that because I think that's why my mom's like, yeah, technically we're married, or I mean, her and her boyfriend are fucking married somehow.
Like, if you and your girlfriend are living in an apartment for like 10 years, you're automatically married by law.
Yeah, it used to be like that in New York. It was 7 years, but they did away with it.
Getting rid of it, but
Yeah, Oregon is not a common law state. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question to the Americans? in this
Patriarchy.
chat? Well,
Sure,
hang on. Like, I'm thinking of
yeah.
starting an animation corporation. This is like my big aspirations. And I know that I can't make a big success here in the UK because, unfortunately, I want to make my films, internationally successful. And I know there's a market out there for 2D hand-drawn animation for adults. I know there is a market out there, and they really will appreciate it. So, would California be the main sort of place for me to set up an industry there? Or is there any other states in the States that, give me a good sort of like opportunity for a secondary industry?
Okay. Well, there's I'm not sure about all of the parameters for starting a business are different in every single state. I know, for instance, Oregon, starting your own business is extremely cheap and extremely easy. But at the same time, Oregon has like some pretty gnarly taxes when it comes to owning a business. It's awful.
Yeah.
It is fucking terrible. California is still probably going to be a little high, but you can't deny the ability to make connections and there in person. I mean, it's invaluable. I as much as I hate California, sometimes I wish I lived there just for that.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at it is like I'm not very familiar with California. A lot of times, like whenever I hear shit about it, it's always weird stuff. But
we're kind of.
I've never heard of any other state with a weirder market other than New York.
Yeah.
How is it weird? How's New York weird?
It wouldn't say weird. It's just like there's a bunch of just a little like sub shit going on. Just like there's always something for someone there.
Yeah. Because what I'm hoping to do is, can I ask you a question? Is Disney's headquarters in LA?
It's in Burbank. Yeah, basically it's LA. It's Burbank's considered a separate city, but it's but it's really surrounded by LA. So basically, effectively, it is LA.
Because what I'm hoping to do is, I know there are a lot of ex-Disney animators that are fed up with the industry. That they're fed up of how Disney has become this, ginormous corporation that doesn't really make good quality films anymore. That panders for a mass market. So what I'm hoping to do is, what I'm hoping to do in my mind is sort of like try to contact these ex-Disney animators and try to hire them into my industry so I can get some professional, because I know they have brilliant abilities of, hand-drawn animation and stuff. So like, if I can, get into contact with them, I think that we could start a really good industry. And this industry won't be targeting children. Because let's be honest, when it comes to the child audience in films, they're generally very naive and not very kind of picky. In essence, they don't filter out the quality when it comes to child films most of the time. So, in essence, I really want to start, targeting for young adults such as our age group that will appreciate the art form and will appreciate the kind of controversial topics that will be adult content and stuff. And I think there is a massive market out there. In essence, it's just if I have to capitalize on it, then I should start with my YouTube channel. So
I mean it's a fucking great way to get into it. Absolutely.
I definitely like the fact that you're concentrating on the boobs.
By the way, this is
that Shadman?
Yeah, by the way, this is my
speaking of that, I should probably cover that up.
This is my YouTube banner. That's going to be it. This is basically this is my character over here. Just the one with the black coat, and you can see there's Bass Stick Man if you recognize him.
Oh my god!
And I haven't inked in the Antifa group, but this is meant to be a whole big scene where Antifa is just running in, coming in to attack and stuff.
Do not give these guys credit for their LARPing.
No. There's the kind of background in essence. So yeah. But yeah, that's just a YouTube banner that I'm doing. So.
For the Horde.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do not portray Bass Stickman as standing against many when he's only one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just emphasize the moves again.
I haven't heard much from Antifa lately.
Yeah, they seem.
I'm gonna take the same stance as Tim Pool on this. It's too damn cold for them to come out.
We say that in the North all the time. They don't protest.
The only and the only reason why they were protesting when last year was because Trump got elected. So they're like, well, it's cold, but you know.
It was interesting last weekend because I went out for the James Moore event up in Portland, and and Tim was there, and me and Tim have met before. But he's there to cover the event, and I'm there to help film it with the people who put it on. And at one point, there's some protesters. They got really mad, and they got up and they charged out. One of them knocked over a bunch of the shit for the.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
the bitch tried to unplug shit, and
I don't know if she tripped or if she intentionally was trying to grab at it. I can't tell. But they all go charging out, and everybody else who's filming has to stay static. And I look over at Tim. Tim looks over at me, and I'm grabbing my camera, and he's already out the door, and we're running to go catch it.
That's awesome.
He's like, this is Venezuela all over again. Let's go.
It didn't turn out to be very interesting.
She
just yelled a lot.
You get Tim Pool on, I think.
That'd be the
Tim
shit.
is too fucking busy.
Yeah,
it'd be the shit, but yeah, exactly. Too damn busy for that.
I don't know if Tim would be really fun on the YouTube stage. He's a really interesting guy to hang out with. But I don't know if he'd have fun on the scenes because we goof off and joke around, and Tim Pool does not really joke.
Yeah,
he's not really he doesn't really do humor. Not really.
He's not a Justin Wang.
Stop licking my face. Stop it.
Well, that came out of nowhere.
Right?
I want to stop.
You gotta get Justin back on. That was awesome.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, I'll have Justin Wang on anytime, man. He's a fucking gem. That dude's great.
I'm smoking, and she wants to get high, and it's not cool.
Is that your dog trying to get the bomb?
Damn it.
Just give me that hit.
Just one, Mom. Well, just one.
No, she's trying to get the joint.
The joint.
Joint. I heard that too.
It's a joint.
It's
a joint.
Get stoned. It was fucking crazy. Wine and sit there my friend would break out the bong, and the dog just
the marijuana question.
My mom's cat, when she lived up here, used to, every time that they'd go back to the room, she knew, go back to the room, I'll get high.
Because I got
so they would literally, the one time that I smoked with her, she was like, actually one of them was like, hey, watch this. It took a hit and then blew it in the cat's face. The cat's like,
that's not catnip. That's not catnip.
Now, my dog has a seizure disorder, so it does actually help her a little bit.
Because Yeet does not like it when you blow smoking. Cause
it's a dog, not cat. God.
Oh, no. the cat absolutely fucking loved it. That cat was a fucking stoner.
Because Yeet is high as fuck. Please pass the joint.
Exactly.
Because you have wares if you have joint.
Red Royal was saying I need to try and get. Red was saying I need to try and get Miles on the Saints. Miles Power. I have wanted to get Miles Power on the Saints ever since we started. The problem is that one is in the UK, so even if we wanted to do midweek, that's midnight for him. And on top of that, he's a chemist. He has a day job, and he gets paid very, very well to be a chemist. So trying to find any way that I can get him into there is going to be very difficult. We've been trying.
Oh, how was the event that you went to with James Damore and Brett Weinstein? How?
It was interesting. James Damore is not really a very good public speaker.
No.
But
no.
But anytime you have Peter Boghossian, he's a firebrand. He's incredible. All the speakers were interesting. James himself was just very nervous because you could tell he was never expecting to get thrust in anything like this. I got to meet Brett Weinstein. That guy is awesome, and he's a sweetheart.
Him and his wife were just in Broken not long ago.
And he's a white supremacist.
They are so wonderful, wonderful people. My favorite part, though, aside from like I got to hang out Monday, Matt and Tim Pool and shit, that was fun. But my favorite part was so I go into the bar for the after party. It wasn't really a bar; it was a pizza joint that had liquor. And I order this one dude who's like a random guy who watches my videos, and he came up and he's like, "Oh shit, you're funny." I'm like, "I'm gonna buy you a drink," so I bought him a drink, and I bought Matt a drink, and I got a shot of whiskey, and I got another shot of whiskey, and I turn around, and I walk up to James Demore, and I'm like, "Whiskey?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't drink." I'm like, "Okay." I look at Tim, and Tim's like, "I'm not drinking." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Okay. So I walk down the row, and then I walk up to Peter Boghossian, and I'm like, "You're a whiskey man. I can tell you're a teacher." And he's like, "I am a whiskey man." So I slam the shot down. He's like, doesn't even faze him.
Like a boss.
He's like, "I really appreciate that." I was like, "You know what? We're going to have a lot of fun at Kilroy, man. It's going to be great." I don't know if Kilroy's going to be good, but I'm going to get wasted.
I wouldn't mind going. I just, fuck, man.
By the way,
shit like that.
By the way, guys, if you want a whiskey recommendation, try looking into Dalmore. It's a nice Scottish brand. Oh, you've had it.
I've had Dalmore.
Yeah, this is an 18 year. So this was first brewed in 2000. So
wow,
like, seriously, it gave me when I first had a sip of that.
It's the millennial.
It gave me a massive seizure of like, because in the year 2000 I was only about 3 years old back then.
Wow.
So it gave me a massive.
God damn it.
Am I older than you, Togo?
I'm about 21. So
yeah, I'm older than you. Holy shit.
I'm
I'm not much older than you, but I'm.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm fucking 32.
This is Lagavulin.
Yeah.
16 year. This is good shit.
Oh, okay.
Really?
What country does that come from?
It's Scottish.
Oh, it's Scottish.
It is in Islay. Single malt.
Oh, nice.
By the way, I got a story involving you, Jeff, this week.
Oh no. Uh-oh. Okay.
It's not a bad story. No. I was on the way home from class, and we have an adult store on the way home. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna step in and I go to the guy and says, I'm looking for a dildo. And I'm like, it's not for sex. I'm like, I have a friend who literally uses these as props. And I'm like,
collects
I want to
giant
get one. I want to get one. I'm gonna send him one as a birthday present. It's like, well, you got this one right here.
I'm gonna back my pickup truck to the store here. And I'm gonna find the largest dildo that you have. You can put it together if you have to. I don't give a shit.
Okay, you whiskey virgins. Here's Johnny Walker Blue Label.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Walker Blue.
Yes. Now, on top of that, here's Johnny Walker King George V edition.
What the fuck is that?
It's good shit.
What year did you?
But it is a blend. It's not single malt. It's a
well,
blend.
yeah, it is a blend.
I heard you make a big deal about single malt and blending. All I give a fuck is because you get me drunk.
Well, when you get to this point, it's not about getting drunk. It's how good does it taste, and then it also gets you drunk. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So
I love expensive Japanese whiskeys. That's really where my jam's at. But, I mean, our selection is shit.
I'm a big fan of unfiltered sake. I don't like filtered sake. I'd rather have unfiltered. It's really good.
I remember the only reason I know about Japanese whiskey is because of
what does
lost
sake
in
taste
translation.
like, by the way?
Oh. Hey, somebody.
What does this?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah. What does sake taste like, by the way?
What does sake taste
What
like?
does it taste?
Yeah.
What does it taste like? Yeah.
That's a hard one to
difficult to describe because I can't really think.
Rubber hose.
Rubber hose.
Bad
best taste rubber hose I've ever had. That is the best taste rubber hose I've ever had.
It's basically rice liquor.
Is it
still
like?
rice.
It's rice wine.
Oh, rice wine. I see.
Yeah, sake is rice wine.
Well,
Yeah.
just
That's
go
why
to,
I didn't like it when I tried it. I
No,
thought
you
it
gotta get the Vietnamese shit. That'll knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
Vietnamese sake is fucking crazy.
From what I've heard, when it comes to sake, you have to like the best stuff is the stuff that requires it to be cold, not the warm stuff, the cold stuff. Because
it depends.
I like warm sake.
It depends.
Hot sake is yeah.
Well, you ever go to hibachi? You know, hibachi, they tend to always serve it hot.
Yep.
They serve it at room temp.
I tell you what, you really got to try if you ever get a chance to, and it's really hard to find real stuff. I mean, people will say that it's real, but it's usually not, and you can tell when it's real because you'll see it. Habu sake.
Oh, the fucking viper shit.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about absinthe.
No.
That's a really complicated one too. No, Habu sake, they take a jug, and then they stick a live pit viper in it, and then they drown it in sake, and then they just put it on a shelf for a few years. And then that's what you drink,
man.
You drink it.
You drink the venom of.
The venom is going to make the sake, and it's crazy.
It leaches like the venom and the oils and the blood out of the fucking pit viper and like mixes it with the sake, and it makes this fucking crazy drink.
That's pretty metal as fuck.
Ooh,
that is metal as fuck.
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
If you want something a little more unusual, Sam Adams once a year brews a beer called Utopia.
Yeah.
Where this is going.
That's really good.
One.
I usually get a bottle or two every year.
Fucking.
What?
Can you only just get it from their brewery? I don't think they ship it anywhere, do they?
Yeah, they do ship it. They ship it to select locations. A lot of places don't get it because there's so much demand.
Oh, okay.
I think Nick mentioned he did that. Had that one year. He had it and he gave it as he did a review of it.
I wonder if you can order real Habu sake.
I don't know, Jeff. Do you guys have a brewery up by you called Leinenkugels?
No.
I think Leinenkugels is in Illinois.
Yeah, it's.
I like their beers.
So it's finally a beer that fucking the Midwest has that you don't. Okay. No, but it's pretty much the largest craft brewery in Wisconsin, and probably Illinois.
It's
one of the bigger ones. And they've got this seasonal stuff going on right now. Like right now, they've got like this vanilla porter out for winter. Oh, dude, I haven't had anything that good in a long time.
The what was it? The ginger cranberry stuff they did a while back.
I don't know about that, but
I might be.
Their biggest seller is Berry Weiss. It's blackberry.
Their summer shandy is really fucking good.
Ooh, yeah, summer shandy. It's my favorite. Honey Weiss is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys been to Africa?
Have not.
No, I don't want malaria.
Why would I want to go to Africa?
I don't want malaria.
I was in Africa and they were telling me about all these.
Where I would get killed.
They were telling me about all these native drinks, and they would like bring me something, and they would say, "Yeah, this is our native drink." I would drink it, and I say, "Just because you put sugar in vodka does not make it a new drink."
All right, guys, I gotta go to work. Nice talking to y'all. See you later.
All right, later.
Holy shit!
What?
Okay, so I'm looking at how they make Habu sake. There's two methods of inserting the snake into the alcohol. The maker may choose to simply submerge the snake in the alcohol and seal the bottle, thus drowning the snake. Alternatively, the snake may be check this out. This is fucked up. Snake may be put on ice until it passes out, at which point it's gutted, bled, and then sewn up. Then, when the viper is thawed and awakens, it will quickly die in an aggressive, striking manner, which is what most producers look for. So like, you can tell what happened if you get a bottle of Habu sake, the snake's got its mouth open. That means they knocked the snake out, cut it open, drained most of its blood out, stitched it back up, and then threw it in the fucking bottle and capped it. So when it woke up, it went and then fucking died.
Huh?
That's fucking.
That's horrible.
I was just thinking of like real absinthe made with wormwood. That's all I was talking about. Trippy as balls.
And I'm over here like, yeah, I don't really. Well, besides my couple of drinks,
since I started smoking weed regularly, I really don't drink that much anymore. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, just don't have the.
I never
I'll
really
have,
drank.
I'll have the
drank
odd like glass of scotch, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I'm completely against drugs. I mean, coffee in the morning, beer here and there.
Well, I'm not against
beer every day.
What the hell, man?
Jesus Christ.
Who the fuck was that?
Something went wacky with Milady's microphone, I guess.
Yeah,
By the way, I will
Jesus
have
Christ.
to. When you come to VidCon, that there's a brewery downtown in LA. I don't like honestly like it, but they have there's a pale ale there's a brewery right next to my dad's work, like right behind it. So I'll have to bring you and Nick some. I don't really like it, but you guys might.
It's Magoo.
This stuff is, I'm into kind of dog shit, but you guys might like it.
What's that?
Hey, my God.
No, I'm just. It's kind of a funny just.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really.
Wormwood is good for boners or something. I'm not an apothecary. Wormwood. The problem I keep having with absinthe is when you buy it in the store, their mixture, the recipes are really, really light compared to traditional absinthe. So you don't really get the same feeling unless you have somebody make some, like, basically homemade distillery, some moonshine absinthe. But like full potency absinthe will fuck you up.
Yeah, I actually want to try it at least once, but
it's good.
I stay away from.
I can't find anywhere that sells it.
My buddy got a hold of some, and we me and a couple other friends got together and did the ritual with the sugar cube and all that shit, and we got fucked up. It was awesome.
Whatever you
never do that again.
Don't ever drink undiluted absinthe. Fuck.
Yeah, don't ever.
Yeah, that's like drinking petrol.
Yeah.
If you want something that's like ambrosia, you need to taste. If you have a craft brewery, peanut butter porter. If a brewer actually does it, brewers hate using peanut butter because it's messy as all hell.
Yep.
But it's delicious.
Yep, I had a peanut butter porter before. The one that I had just recently from one of the beer snob places that I go to every now and then was a coconut stout. Oh, fuck! I've never had one of those before.
Are any of you familiar with Terrapin?
It's Terrapin. That rings a bell.
Terrapin is based out of Georgia. They're near Athens. I think they're like just outside of Athens. They make a fucking awesome peanut butter and jelly porter. It is the shit.
Oh, jeez.
I'm tasty as fuck.
I think the worst beer I've had is a, oh God, back when I worked at the tap house, we got a keg of a Skittle Pale Ale. It would not sell.
Yeah. Have you heard of a strawberry beer that's been sold in nightclubs lately? That is trash. Trashy drink. Trashy drink.
Sounds like it.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up this image. There we go. Okay. I want to share this with you guys. There's this fucking bizarre ass beer that we have from a distillery or from a brewery called Rogue. So here it is.
I've had Rogue, yeah.
I've seen that one around, yeah.
Bacon maple ale voodoo donut beer.
I've heard that one.
Because Voodoo Donuts is a legendary donut shop in our state.
Yeah.
And they make bacon maple bars. And so they decided to make the bacon maple bars into a fucking beer. And it's fucking disgusting. It is absolutely foul. There's no reason that should exist. It's fucking gross.
Have you had their Sriracha Stout? It's
Yes.
got to be like one of the worst I've had. I could not stand it.
It'll just sound not fun to me. I don't like beer. Beer's disgusting.
There you go. This is something that
it's disgusting. It is fucking disgusting.
It's called
you trying to get yourself banned there?
This is some stuff that me and some buddies had in Savannah a while back.
That shit is good.
This watermelon flavored beer.
21st Amendment.
Hell yeah. Shit was good.
Hell yeah.
I've tasted probably more beer flavors than anyone else on the planet, for all I know.
Have you tried English ale?
What kind of English ale?
Actually, there's many types. Have you heard of John Smith's?
Cocaine.
What?
Have you heard of John Smith?
No, I've not heard of John Smith.
Oh, try it.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's proper bitter. English bitter. Can't beat English bitter.
Just so you're aware, I worked in the brewing industry for 15 years.
Okay, that's where I gotta be.
They're a British company and they're pretty big.
Okay.
They sell across the UK and in Ireland. They sell around Europe.
Really?
So yeah, they sell around Europe. So.
Oh, I've been in Ireland and I never saw them, but okay.
I know.
They're talking about cocaine in the chat.
What's wrong with that?
I recently started watching Walk Hard. I'd never seen that movie before, and I only got about halfway. But there's a line that stuck out. He walks into this bathroom. There's all these people that are doing cocaine, and they're like, "You don't want none of this cocaine, Dewey Cox." And he's all heartbroken because he just lost his wife or shit. He's like, "I don't know, maybe I do." And they're like, "No, you don't. It turns all your sad feelings into happy feelings. You don't want this." And he's like, "Actually, I think I really do." I fucking fell off my couch laughing so hard at that shit. Like, oh,
it turned all your sad feelings into happy feelings.
Yeah. It's funny as fuck.
Well, the best cocaine you can get is the rich man's cocaine. So yeah, only if you have the money to buy it.
I'm waiting for Super Troopers 2.
Oh my god, me too.
Who isn't? That's gonna be so good.
What is that?
Super Troopers 2? You haven't seen Super Troopers?
No.
Oh my god! That'll be on your list of things to watch.
That's a movie. That's a movie worth watching. It's incredible.
That sounds like a movie night movie, Jeff.
We should.
Exactly.
That'd be fun.
Is it a comedy? Is it a comedy or?
Yeah.
It's a police comedy.
You ever seen Beer Fest? The same guys made it.
Oh, I've heard of Beer Fest, but I haven't heard of Super.
Yeah, these guys made Beer Fest.
The troop is called Broken Lizard.
Broken Lizard, yeah.
Yeah, they're so good.
I really don't like any of the other movies except for Super Troopers.
Yeah, Super Troopers is really good. I did not like Beer Fest. And
Beer Fest was
the other one?
boring.
Club Dread.
Club Dread, yeah. I was not a fan.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really super into it either. I mean, they're all brilliant. They're all really good writers and whatnot, but they couldn't really replicate the Super Troopers feel.
If Super Troopers 2 is bad, I might have to kill myself.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be. They got Brian Cox to come back. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Brian Cox is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
He's such a good villain, but he's also really good as a good main character. He's just a classically trained.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's awesome.
I'm a big fan of horror movies, and I watch even really shitty ones. But there's like trends in naming horror movies, and for a while there was like the exorcism of this.
I remember that.
Yeah. Conjuring of blank county. The this of that. And so there was a movie that came out called The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and I was like, it's got to be shit. But there's nothing else on. I've seen everything on Netflix. I might as well watch this crap. And I turn it on, and all of a sudden I see Brian Cox. I'm like, wait a minute, excuse me? Brian Cox is in a shitty-ass horror movie? And then I kept watching it. It's fucking awesome. What a good movie. And I don't think anybody watched it because it's got a stupid name that makes it sound like it's a piece of shit, but it's great.
I think is missing in modern day horror films, like that old creepy music that you hear in the 60s, that violin, that orchestra music, because there's something scary and creepy when you listen to orchestrated music. Because I remember as a child, it really did haunt me when I was looking at old films, because there was just something about it that just had that creepy old fashion edge to it. Right. I'll give this to any opinion to any director. If they want to make a good, successful horror film that is actually scary, use that kind of old music
It's all about the
in your
atmosphere.
movies, because that will literally, because it will drive the tense. Because I'm surprised they don't use that, because it's like it's an old asset waiting to be used. But...
Absolutely, music and sound can set the tone for any kind of movie. I mean, like anything by Denis Villeneuve, whatever the fuck his name is. Like the new Blade Runner, Arrival, Sicario, like all of these movies are good, objectively good, but I've been watching things to fall asleep, and I have to keep them really quiet so I don't hear the sound engineering as much, and they're not as good. They're just not as good.
Yeah.
Whoever that man taps for his sound engineering and the compositions takes those movies from a good movie to a phenomenal movie. Just way that past that.
I just generally feel that, you know, the horror genre and the comedy genre and the action-packed genre have been utterly butchered by these big studios that just mass-produce films. They don't necessarily care about the contents, about the characters or the scenarios. They just mass-produce them because, in essence, what it's all about for them is getting as much ticket sales on the first week. And after that, they don't care what happens to that film. They don't care if it's stuck behind a DVD shelf or it's, you know, out there or anything on Netflix or anything like that. They don't care about that. They just care about the first week selling. They don't care if the people say, "Oh, it's a terrible film." They don't really care about those people because they're caring about the naive people that go into the cinema. You know, just pick a scary film that they don't know and they just rely on those people. That's the sad truth. And I wish films weren't like that, but you know, that's the market.
Yeah.
I am trying to track down a song that a buddy of mine used in our World of Darkness game about a year ago. You talk about like a song to like set the mood. If I can get him to respond, god damn, that song was haunting. Haunting.
So the next time I get caught watching a porno, I can say I was listening to the soundtrack.
So
I like that one.
Thomas St. Clair brought up a really good one. He was asking, "What do I think about the Goblins music in Italian horror movies?" Well, okay, so there was a band called Goblin. I think they're actually still around, and they're an old school progressive rock band. But they didn't just do Italian horror movies, like because they worked with Dario Argento a bunch in like Suspiria and a bunch of his movies. They also did the music for, it was either Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead. I can't remember which one.
Those are both great movies.
Yeah, and their music was fucking amazing, absolutely amazing.
I'm still waiting for John Romero. What's his name? Romero to rise from the grave.
George Romero?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for him to rise from the grave.
Is he dead?
If he does that, we're like, aha, he solved it.
Oh shit, he died last year. No shit.
Yeah,
okay.
That was on an episode of Saints. Like Rick and Nick's. Like, I think we should take a pay respects to John. No, he said press Z to pay respects.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones you guys did on Saints.
Whoa, I get to work with.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a bit sad.
I don't know, man. I was never really that big of a fan of Romero, honestly. Yeah. Not really. I mean, the original Dawn of the Dead was fucking great, but yeah.
I love my apocalypse movies, so I have to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's required. It's required watching.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so I hate to say that I'm like this, but if somebody makes a movie bad enough, it actually does. It can sour, and I wish it didn't, but it can sour other movies for me. And Land of the Dead was so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
Which one was that one?
The one with John Leguizamo, and they've got the murder. There's a city that's surrounded by the zombie apocalypse, and they have like a murder RV. They like drive around.
Oh yeah! Oh god! Wasn't that the one after the one where they're stuck in the mall?
Well, they did the one.
It's like the zombie baby, like.
No, okay. So how it goes is you got Night of the Living Dead at the farmhouse, then you have Dawn of the Dead at the shopping mall, then you have Day of the Dead, which is underground military bunker, and that's the darkest, bleakest one of all. And then fast forward like 20 years, and then they came out with Land of the Dead, and it was just a burning shit pile. It's awful.
Yeah, right. Well, to be fair, at the same time, they were remaking some of Romero's stuff already. That was the problem.
Yeah, they were.
I liked the original. That was great. Me and my buddy sit and watched that. We did a review of that for a movie thing.
Oh god, 28 weeks later.
Oh
yeah.
It had what's his face in it. It had what's his face in it. Fuck, I can't remember the actor's name. Carlisle, Robert Carlisle in it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him as from Stargate. That's the first time I ever saw him. Was freaking Stargate.
All right, my buddy responded. I have that song now. I'm posting it in the chat.
All right.
The setup for this song was like we were investigating this house, and if anybody's familiar with World of Darkness, it's just a like grim dark kind of setting. So we're investigating this house, and there's like a record player in the attic that is playing this song.
Cool. Ooh, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
That is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it's like haunting. It's not like super dark. It's just creepy. It gives you the creeps.
Yeah.
You know what's actually interesting? Speaking of kind of haunting thing, is I got bored and I was looking up. You guys heard the theremin, the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone did that, and they basically did one of a Zelda song, like the lullaby thing. And it's haunting yet kind of soothing. It's like it feels like almost like a ghost singing the song in a mournful, like days gone by kind of feeling. Like not like but not like haunting, like it isn't evil, but more like I've almost mourning the loss of life.
Yeah, I've got a little. There's a German book. I forgot what it's called, but it's like an old children's book that was made during the 18th century Germany, and it's still very popular to this day. And it's got an image of a guy with ginormous hair, long nails, because it's meant to show that he's been naughty for not trimming and keeping a hygiened area. And it's meant to be this book where it's meant to use very grim tales to sort of teach children not to be maleficent or naughty. And there's this one story of a kid that won't stop sucking his thumb, and his mother warns him before she goes out, beware of the snipper, because the snipper will jump into your room. And it shows this really terrifying kind of jump scare of a guy with massive scissors that cuts off his thumb.
What an ass!
It's like really grim. Like, go and look it up. I forgot what it's called, but like I've been seriously thinking, like if I was to make a horror film, I'd base it on that.
Yeah,
that kind of sounds like the Indonesian like cross-dresser guy from like Indonesian like folklore.
There's a lot of interesting.
Have you looked that shit up? It's really fucking interesting.
There's one.
I'll look it up on Google Images to see what book it's called. But once I find it, I'll link it.
The Germans are really good at having interesting horror, kind of like dark stories for their myth, for their folklore.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, I found it. It's a very kind of it's called it's the author is called Heinrich Hoffmann, and he published this book in 1845. Wow. And it's a very, when I first looked at this book as a child, it gave me nightmares. It's got some, because the illustrations are so old-fashioned.
Right. There's something kind of creepy about old-fashioned illustrations.
Yeah.
What is his name?
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry. I can't tell what's satire anymore, but
it all is.
I don't know, man. Like, I see something and I have to wonder if it's actually real. The hashtag bleed with her hashtag.
What?
I hope that's not real.
I don't think it is.
That can't be
That's
real.
gonna be just
What is the oh?
That's
I
gonna
think
be
it's just Medicare fucking around. Like I see a couple of other things that were posted, but like years ago, you know, kind of
Ghost
shit.
with scissors.
I went to Twitter and that was the very first thing I saw.
Yeah. Like the some dude making incisions into his testicles so that he can be on his period with feminists. Like that's no.
That's a little crazy.
By the way, I found the book. It's called it'd be a really good inspiration for a horror film, but it's called it's got a German name. It's called Strohweppe Peter.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I don't know
like
what the English
is what?
Yeah,
but yeah,
Germans are like
this is like so yeah.
Most
Have you
demented Germans children? Is that what we're looking at? This link?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The little here. I can show some of them. Let's do this.
Screen share if you can.
Yeah. The little girl who cried her eyes out. That's interesting.
That's fucking weird.
Proud Phoebe, whose perpetual nose in the air mutated her vertebra.
What?
Yeah. Romping Polly, who made the mistake of roughhousing with little boys and broke her leg. What the fuck?
Oh wow.
It's all meant to teach children to not misbehave. All these, and if they misbehave, these bad things will happen to them as curses.
Freaking Germans.
Who tried to eat honey straight from the beehive and like has bees in her eyes. Oh, that's cool. Weird, man. Weird.
Yeah.
But there's a one where it shows it's like to be like an almost anti-racist message. It shows three boys that are pointing fingers and laughing at this black kid who is only got his pants and he's holding an umbrella and he's doing a little skip across the town. And then this big, ginormous wizard who is overlooking all of this, wants to teach these three boys a lesson. So he grabs them by the hand. It's like the God hand. He grabs them and, throws them into this black cauldron of ink. So he turns them black ink. And in essence, the last illustration is those three boys following the black boy because in essence, they made fun of his black skin. So now they're inked covered black. I'm not sure if I can find the image, but
that's wild. Old I don't know, old weird stuff like that. Fucking nursery rhymes and children's books and things like that I find especially creepy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well,
yeah, I went to
Germans are weird like that. They have all these really kind of creepy like
Scissor Phantom.
Well, if you actually think about most of the nursery rhymes, they're fucked up.
Yeah, they are. It's weird shit, man.
Where the fuck?
Like Hansel and Gretel is really fucked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh
right,
yeah,
because
dude,
the whole thing with
oven and shit.
Mm-hmm. Humpty Dumpty's really fucked up too when you think about it.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
You should get that prostate checked.
But yeah, there is a quote unquote
it's quoting fingers.
Quote unquote what?
yeah. Okay.
So you started a quote.
God damn it. There's a game named Dreadout. Well, a lot of their ghosts are actually from where is it? Scissor Phantom. They name it the Scissor Phantom, and it's actually where the fuck are they? It's from
Spain. Jeez.
I think it's like Indonesia or whatever. Yeah, Indonesia. It takes like their ghosts and shit like that, and like
I remember there's an Indonesian like spirit of like a dead woman who died in childbirth.
Yeah,
they have to basically you have to protect women who are pregnant or just had kids, and you have to ward off them.
There's one
the child.
That's like a trans one. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
and it's he will take babies and like it's
mutilate them.
No, he'll literally take your fucking baby, and I can't remember what he does with them, but it's really just like, what the fuck? I'm trying to find the actual name of it.
Well,
there
are a number
something similar in Central Europe, like the actual boogeyman.
Yeah. Most cultures have some kind of representation for unattended kids get snatched or something.
Yeah. A dingo ate my baby. Yeah.
That was a real story. That's not funny. That was a great movie.
So, has anybody here actually watched Black Panther yet?
Yes.
No,
I haven't seen Black Panther.
I was going to see it last week, but I
refuse to watch corporate, films. I'm calling
Fuck
it
it, I went
corporate.
and saw it and I had a good time. So
My skin color isn't quite there yet. I gotta.
I will say this: the politics in the movie are heavy-handed, and that's to be expected. Because I mean, like, as I understand it, the comic wasn't apolitical to begin with, anyway.
No, it wasn't. Not well. It's gotten political recently, very political.
Well, I mean, I think its origins weren't exactly apolitical, though.
How can the politics even matter?
But in any event, like if you just accept that that's a thing going into the movie, you can enjoy yourself.
Can I just say, in the comic, did they have female soldiers?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'll let them off for that because I just thought that was like a feminist implementation into it.
No. There's been like a woman specific like special ops honor guard thing in Wakanda for years and years and years in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Like,
okay.
And it's not done. It's not done in the when they first started doing it. It wasn't done like for any type of weird emasculation thing or anything. They were just like, this is a really cool concept.
Cool. Yeah, it was just a cool thing to do. Yeah.
Because I find it weird that the black. Oh, bad.
I like the comics between Marvel and DC. They'll start borrowing different aspects from each other, and there's no answer really to like the Amazons from DC Comics into Marvel, but instead what they have is like very specific elite groups, like in Thor, the Asgardians have
the
Valkyries, right? And in Wakanda they have like this one honor guard, which I don't remember their names because I'm a misogynist piece of shit.
Hashtag Wakanda.
Oh, I absolutely love the guy. He's an actor in the movie who's talking about how Wakanda proves colonialism was bad. He's like trying to hold it as a reference.
Oh, I know.
The ending, the ending, which really sparks a lot of controversy, is when at the end the lead protagonist of Wakanda goes to all the blacks throughout the world, including the African Americans. He gives off charity primarily to them. So in essence, he's deliberately discriminating everybody else. But
does that actually happen, Nick?
I think there's a scene in there. When the Wakandan man goes out across the world to give aid to blacks across the world who are not from Wakanda, which are itself, but the black African American.
Give them aid. It's not good.
I'm not sure. Are you talking about the antagonist of the film?
I thought it was the main. I heard a rumor that it was the protagonist who did it. but
basically he was.
I could be wrong.
That he was only
so the like the setup for the movie, like there's Wakanda's isolationist. They don't talk to anybody. They don't exchange with anybody. They don't. They even make a point to say they don't do trade. They don't do foreign aid. They don't do shit. They are totally isolationist. Now they have within their society, they have like spies and shit. They go out and just keep tabs on the outside world. And perform like little missions because there are people that do know about what Wakanda really is, like Claw. So they try to track down these people.
Right, they showed like in it was called Winter
But there's
Soldier.
no like there's no outreach or anything from Wakanda until like the movie resolves itself and they're like, okay, we should start like reaching out and actually start participating in the world. So they start doing like outreach. Like the movie kind of ends with them doing like outreach centers and stuff. Like that was what they were going to start implementing.
Gotcha. There's no ritualized component to the outreach centers.
Yes, there kind of is because they very much start in a black neighborhood, or it's heavily implied that it's.
That's what I'm implying. Yeah.
Probably Planned Parenthood.
But the speech that the guy gives at the end at the UN, and I'm trying not to give anything away for people.
Right.
But, the speech that he gives at the end is very like it's not a black or white thing. It's more of like a message of like we're all. He actually uses the phrase "we're all one tribe." So basically saying like we all need to work together and take care of each other. So the message at the end of the film was very much a unified message as opposed to like black people have had this raw deal and we're gonna do that. No, it's not quite like that.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Yeah, I know they have to be neutral in essence. They can't be too political because they don't want to face alienation from a mass market because they care mostly about mass markets in the end.
Sure,
the Chinese market.
But I mean, there's definitely there's definitely the element of wokeness throughout the the film. It comes up several times, but they don't beat you over the head with it for the majority of the film. But when it comes up, they do beat you over the head with it.
Yeah. Look, I don't mind if there's a black supremacist film. I really don't mind of it, but I find it hard to believe. I don't really care. But the thing is, I find it hard to believe in a patriarchal society such as Wakanda, they somehow have female soldiers. That just bugs me.
That happened with Gaddafi.
If you reach a point technologically where like there's no like you can because all of their abilities are enhanced by the vibranium. So there's really no physical like in terms of like physical limitation. There really isn't.
Well, in the comic books, it's not the society isn't really a patriarchal society. Wakanda is like in the comic books. It starts out that T'Challa, the Black Panther, he is the king of Wakanda, but it's not that the Black Panther is always the king. It's that the Black Panther is basically a mantle that's passed down through generations. In the comic books, at one point, he stops being king because he has to do something else. Basically, he has to basically take an L for something, and his sister becomes queen of Wakanda, and then she's running the country. And he ends up being the king of the necropolis, king of the dead. And it's fascinating. It's interesting stuff. Some of the writing that was done in the early 2000s.
Was incredible. I think Tariq Nasheed got Wakanda dick because he said his dick is a weapon of mass destruction, right?
That's true. Tariq Nasheed.
Whoa.
Disgrace. That motherfucker.
I love Derek's video.
Look, to be fair, with Marvel films in general, they're trying to be neutral, and the thing is, my only criticism about them, in essence, is that they don't. I'm not sure if they're doing their best to completely represent what's in the comics themselves, but there is no grim violence. There's no I remember in the earlier films, such as in the 2000s. Comic book films had a bit more grim realities in this, and they had a bit more, kind of based forms of violence, and they kind of discovered the kind of inner masculinity and inner femininity of the protagonists.
Okay.
a lot more than they do now. Because I think in essence, I think they're just trying to appeal to mass children because they know that children buy their toys and buy their
sure
merchandise.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
like there was no toys that were put out for Blade. You know, like
Blade was great, man.
Where were you when Blade came out?
Yeah. Which is a fucking awesome movie, a great fucking movie. When it came out, it was.
I thought it was kind of funny. Is everyone forgot about Blade when it came to Black Panther's the first Black. Let me know, Blade came first.
Yeah,
Blade was good.
They did the same thing when Wonder Woman came out. They said this is the first female protagonist.
Led's thing, yeah. They did the same thing with Deadpool because technically Blade was the first R-rated comic book movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the things that drives me crazy, though, I mean, so I can see that they're trying to do the mass appeal for the Marvel comics, but to be honest with you, the Marvel comic movies are more true to the comics, the spirit of the comics these days than the comics art of the comics. A huge swath of Marvel comics are fucking awful right now. Fucking terrible.
That's why they actually had to fire them.
The writing, the art is subpar.
Yeah,
that's why
the writing. Though, I mean, like I can get past subpar art, but the writing is fucking terrible.
I used to remember looking at the books about Marvel back in the when I was a kid. I referred to library books back then. It was before the earlier times of the internet. As a kid, I used to look at Marvel library books. And this was during the 2000s, and the illustrations back then, the artists' work was so spectacular. They were like works of a renaissance in essence. And you don't have that now in Marvel comic books now. Those artists have kind of simplified their art now.
There's some outliers that are still pretty amazing, but it's unfortunately it's the exception, not the rule. And some of them are not things that you would think would be incredible. One of the strongest titles that they've had for the past few years, the art is incredible, the storytelling is amazing, is Moon Knight. Like, who the fuck would have ever thought Moon Knight would be like the highest quality comic book being put out by Marvel at the moment?
Hemlock Moon Knight.
Hemlock Moon. Fucking dude. But it's weird because, you know, nobody gave a fuck about Moon Knight. They're like, oh, it's Marvel's version of Batman, except he's in all white. Like, but he's amazing. The comics are incredible.
Oh, Moonlight. Oh, I remember him. He's meant to be like the later version of Robin, isn't he?
I mean, I'd say it's almost their ripoff of Batman when he first came out.
I see.
Now he's totally different. The story is about a mercenary named Mark Spector who died in the desert and was resurrected by an Egyptian god. And in the process of this happening, like spurred on even worse his already latent mental illness. The dude has dissociative personality disorder, so he has split personalities. So half the time when you're reading a Moon Knight comic, you're like, is this actually happening, or is this like this weird batshit stuff going on in this guy's head? And it's so well written. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Like the last good Marvel film I saw was the first Iron Man film. Oh man, I remember that film. The first Iron Man film was amazing.
I enjoyed what was it called, the whole the 80s kind of cheese for Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, dude, Ragnarok. I am so burnt out on Marvel movies completely. I will watch Black Panther because I'm gonna watch all of them because I'm a comic fan. But I've been so burnt out on those fucking movies. I couldn't even like Doctor Strange, even though it was actually a pretty decent movie.
It's one of my favorites of this memory.
Yeah, I really wanted to like it, and I can see that it is a good film, but I'm so burnt out. I was like, But then Thor Ragnarok was fun.
Have you seen the?
I have yet to see that one.
Have you seen the Nerdist trailer? Have you seen the Nerdist trailer where they basically turned it into an 80s VHS trailer?
I absolutely refuse to watch anything to do with Nerdist.
It's one of those things. I know, not Nerdist, but they actually did a really hilarious like VHS style Ragnarok trailer, and they used like footage from the Lou Ferrigno Thor, Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk and Thor.
Yeah,
it's
that's cool.
It's so cheese. It's great cheese.
Oh yeah.
It's like
I won't watch anything Nerdist after what's the main guy behind Nerdist? What's his name?
Chris Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick. Yeah. I got really drunk one night and I tweeted at Chris Hardwick and I was like, "You need to fire Will Wheaton. He's a piece of shit." And he tweeted right back to me. And he's like, "I fucking love Will Wheaton. Don't watch my shit. Fuck you." And I was like, "All right, well."
Will Wheaton's an asshole. We all know Will Wheaton's a fucking asshole.
You mean woke Wheaton?
Will Wheaton will do any. Will Wheaton would probably suck a guy's dick just for money. Like that man is like everywhere, and it's just annoying. It's like, can you stop?
Well, I mean, are you really that surprised about a guy whose career is built on being the annoying teenager?
Yeah. And he still acts like that, and it's like, go away. Nobody likes you. You're at every single Comic-Con. Why the fuck are you here?
Oh God, I wonder if I'll ever run into him when I go to some of those conventions.
Oh yeah, he's up in Emerald City a couple of times, and like, I'm pretty sure when I went to Rose City, he was one of them too. I can't remember exactly, but he's literally like, if it's a convention, he's literally on the fucking book.
I found him quite funny on The Big Bang Theory when he guest stars.
Yeah, it's time.
That's good writing, though. It's not really him.
Yeah, that's not him.
He did a show called The Will Wheaton Project. That was quite possibly one of the most cringy fucking things I've ever seen in my life. So bad.
Yeah, I remember that. Wait, didn't that show also share a set with a different show? I remember seeing something like that on fucking Reddit not that long ago. Hold on.
Maybe. That sounds about right. Dude, the Will Wheaton Project doesn't even qualify for its own Wikipedia article.
But to be fair, there are things that don't qualify for Wikipedia. Well, they're actually really damn good. The number of books I read, I'm like, why doesn't this not have an article yet?
You could always write one.
True. It's really TV tropes I'm annoyed about. Like, why don't you have this? This was good. This is totally has all the tropes you need to look at.
Yeah, Sci-Fi doesn't even have like their past episodes listed either. I wonder if I can find. I had a few of them downloaded. Oh yeah, no, you can. You can find episodes of the Will Wheaton Project. Good fucking God, it was so bad. It was just a green screen.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was something. I remember what it was now. There was some show that was sharing a set with a porn set. I desperately wish I could remember where I saw that post or what the context was.
Sounds fun.
But like people went through and they analyzed it, and it's the exact same fucking set, right down to the couch.
His show, Tabletop. His podcast Tabletop is filmed in a porn studio. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go. That's the one.
All right, wait. That's a bad thing.
I mean,
I don't think so.
In a way, yeah. If they actually didn't clean up after, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
The only reason he does it is he wants to try to get with Felicia Day. He just wants to get with.
Hey, I would want to too. Fuck yeah, Felicia Day.
God,
I'm all up for Felicia Day. Fucking beautiful redhead. Hell yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, okay. So this is from July of 2013, and he posted this on Twitter. Yes, we shoot tabletop in a loft downtown that's used for other productions, including porn, like pretty much every location in LA.
That's true.
You don't admit it.
Yeah, you just say, I don't know what you're talking about and move on.
Or you could say that, hey, this is used for main productions. Hell, you don't even have to say the porn. You say, hey, this is it. Our loft is used for mini productions.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to bring up the porn part. And just let people go, She told Matthew, but you do point like, well, I've said many productions. I'm not at liberty to state which production these are based on contractual obligations.
Well, then we just know that you're lying.
Yeah.
Some people actually really do like. Apparently, okay, there are some people who really do like the show Tabletop.
I used to like. I liked it. I liked it. It was actually quite interesting.
Okay.
I mean, that's fair.
Just because I don't like the guy doesn't mean that he can't actually do something that's entertaining. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
He comes off kind of smarmy at times.
Smarmy?
No,
I come across
I saw his. The only thing I saw of Will Wheaton was that kind of shitty YouTube vid that he did justifying. He was kind of attacking the Force Awakens. Ranters online when it came out.
Oh yeah.
And remember the prequels? They were bad and all of that. Like, wow, that's such your opinion, dude. Like, not like you.
The
prequels
that's that opinion. The prequels.
No, they weren't garbage. They weren't garbage.
They were okay.
They had an original, concept to them. Like, it's just the only reason why they were bad was because of the terrible acting, and the kind of overused CGI. That's the only bad things about them. But other than that, they were pretty good.
Honestly, when I think of the prequels, I think of
I think
4,
Alex
5,
Jones
and
explaining
6.
them.
Like the people be in around 4, 5, and 6 trying to tell the story of what happened to Vader. Like, because some of their fucking shit is just like, okay, how would this even fucking happen? Most of these guns wouldn't even not even appear in 4, 5, and 6, and this and that. It's like, how do you explain the drastic decline of weaponry and clothes and shit like this?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about that. You know what doesn't make sense? How the new trilogy explains that the fucking First Order, which is somehow meant to be the remnants of the Empire, is even more stronger and bigger and, even more fucking terrifying than the fucking Empire in the original trilogy. How do they fucking explain that? That makes zero fucking sense. But the reason why they did that was because they want to recapture the Star Wars fucking thing because they're too fucking lazy to come up with a new fucking concept. And that's why I say fuck the new trilogy, because it's so fucking worse.
It would have been
hold on a second. Everything in the Star Wars mythos is around fighting another big bad. You go to any fan fiction and you're gonna see the Sith versus the Jedi, in the Sith Wars, or you're gonna see some empire versus another empire. You've got the stuff with the whole of Star Wars is built on that. So the First Order still being around, that doesn't really bother me. It's just a plot device.
No, it does, because what it shows is that they could have, what they should have done was they could have made a new form of Sith that would have got okay, here's a scenario. The Sith have completely been destroyed thanks to the death of Palpatine and the death of Vader, right? So you have a new formation of the Sith. They haven't got an army.
They never said the Sith was destroyed.
Well, no.
But yes, they did.
Palpatine was a master, not the only master, just a master.
Oh yeah.
Palpatine tried to kill. When Vader came up, Palpatine pretty much tried to kill every single Sith that was around.
Well, Palpatine killed all of his apprentices because that's how the Sith operate.
No, they explained that at for instance, for a while, Maul had survived, and Palpatine, when he saw him, you're trying.
And you cut out.
Yep. And remember.
So okay,
you got muted.
I'm gonna bust this out real fast, real easy, really easy. So thousands of years before the events of the original Star Wars, you had what was known as the Sith Empire. The Sith Empire was there was a race called the Sith, but the Sith Empire wasn't necessarily all about the Sith as a race. Instead, it was a far-sweeping, domineering galactic empire that was basically in charge of it was like the Empire back then. and it was run by Force users. But when that eventually came crashing down, the Sith and the dark side users of the Force, there was no real rules about how they were, but they had to hide because they were being pursued, hunted. It was only when it came down to Darth Bane. Darth Bane was the one who established the rule of 2, that there would never again be more than 2 classified as Sith dark side Force users, always a master and an apprentice, and that was always it, no matter what, no more. That doesn't necessarily mean that was the only dark side Force users. You had like the Force witches on Dathomir. They used the dark side of the Force. There were Force witches like all over the fucking place in different places, but it was specifically the honorary title of a Sith Lord and his apprentice that was supposed to be like kept at 2. Now, from all the extended universe stuff that I've ever read and understand, and I know way too much about it, even though I'm not really a Star Wars fan, I know like encyclopedic knowledge about this shit, and it's weird. I don't think there's ever been a point in time, except for Palpatine and Vader, in which they actually held up to the rule of 2. There was always more than 2.
Yeah.
But,
well, that was why they always failed. That's why they ended up going with the 2. And it wasn't that there were only 2. It was that they're like they would only operate in cells of 2.
Mm-hmm.
There could be other cells out there, but they operated totally independent of each other.
Yeah.
So
my only thing about this is that what they should have done with the new trilogy was that they should have taken complete examples from the extended universe, from the EU comics, where it showed, the life with Luke, Leia, and and Han, and Chewie after the death of the Empire. It would have made a far more, authentic, as well as, Star Wars proper continuation from the original trilogy, in my opinion. I think that's what should have happened. If I was directing the Star Wars films, that's what I would have done, and I think I would have made a far more better success than the fucking, shit that the fans try to justify now. Like that's what really pisses me off, more than the Disney corporate greed and more the bad writing in those new trilogies, is how the fans try to justify that corporate crap. Seriously, you are not, to me, a Star Wars fan if you justify all that corporate crap. You are no way a fan in my mind.
I was really pissed because they didn't make the Thrawn trilogy, the Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what they're gonna do with Thrawn in Rogue One.
None of that stuff is canon anymore.
Yes, Thrawn is actually canon. Thrawn is actually canon now. Through the Rogue series. They have Rebels. An animate, Rebels series. They have Thrawn.
Oh no shit!
Really? Yes. There was Thrawn did show up in that. That's right.
And Thrawn is just as great as he is. He does this whole thing about analyzing people through their art. He's like that's how he actually ends up whooping most most of the Rebels do pretty well. But then Thrawn shows up. He's like, yeah, clearly you're not seeing the fact that look at this art and this is why they think the way they do. Like he does a whole he's able to trick people into doing stuff by simply using their own culture against them.
Yeah. No, Thrawn was amazing. Thrawn was absolutely incredible. I really hope that we get to see him in a movie. That would make me very happy.
Remember, the servant waits while the master baits.
All right. So we're gonna go offline here. So everybody watching in the chat, thanks so much for joining us, and anybody watching in the future, this is the end. Say goodbye, everybody.
This is the end, my friend.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.